Hello and welcome to the Stars and Stripes Soccer Show, episode number 4. First of all, we'd like to thank you. Once again, I'm Carlos Reyes, your host, with my co-host Nate Jacinto. Once again, we are doing a show for the fans, by the fans, all about U.S. soccer, and most importantly, U.S. men's national team soccer. We want to thank you for being patient. We've been trying to get together and figure out our schedules, see when we can best meet, and just things have come up. If hopefully you can tell, we got a brand new camera. We're very excited about it. We're basically going to roll through this thing and talk. We're not set on a time. Our previous camera kind of had us at 9:50, and we kind of had to plan our schedule around that. So you're going to see us cut right when the 10-minute mark is probably about to hit. In this episode, we want to talk about the upcoming friendlies that are going to play on Friday, November 11th against France, and on Tuesday, November 15th against Slovenia. This show, particularly, we'll talk about. We're going to go over the roster, talk about the France game, and then we're going to try to get together. I think we've already decided for this upcoming Sunday after the game. We're going to get together, recap France, and then talk about what we think the Slovenia game and what we'll see about that. So real quick, I want to get into the roster, or you know what, Nate, take over and please let them know who's on the roster.
Yeah, we're going to start with the goalkeepers. We got Bill Hamid, Tim Howard. Defenders, we got Carlos Bocanegra, Timmy Chandler, Steve Cherundolo, Clarence Goodson, Alfredo Morales, Michael Orozco Fiscal, Gucci Onyewu. In midfielders, we got Kyle Beckerman, Michael Bradley, Clint Dempsey, Maurice Edu, Fabian Johnson, Jermaine Jones, Robbie Rogers, Breck Shea, Danny Williams, and for forwards we have Josie Altidore, DeMarcus Beasley, Edson Butter, and Landon Donovan, but he opted out.
We'll talk about it in a bit, but he did opt out. So looking at the roster, we're seeing something of the same. Not a lot of changes. A couple new guys, Alfredo Morales being one of them, and but we're seeing Robert Rogers is back, and Jermaine Jones making his I think his first appearance, or I think did he play against Mexico?
No, he didn't.
He didn't. So his first appearance back under Klinsmann, so making his way back on the team. But kind of very similar to what we've seen Klinsmann have previously. So what are your overall thoughts on the roster?
Well, you know what, at this point, again, we're still in the rebuilding stage, and I mean it's a solid roster. We were talking before we got on the show. I feel that Klinsmann has an idea of what he wants out of the team, and he needs to keep the same batch. He needs to start off with the base, and that's what he's doing. And you see a lot of the players being called up that maybe you think that they didn't have what it takes to stay on the team, but you know what? He's building the base of the team, and he has to work with what he has right now. The players that are in form and that have maybe not done as well in their leagues, but maybe they've come onto camp, they come onto the national team, and he's seen some good things out of them during the camp or in games. A few minutes that they've gone on.
So looking at this roster, what do you like? What's one of the things you say? Okay, I do like this roster because.
Well, let me start by the goalkeepers. I mean, obviously Tim Howard. He's our man, but I like to see him maybe alternate some goalkeepers. Not because Tim Howard's not doing the job, just because, I mean, in my personal opinion, he's top 3 goalkeepers in the world. But what happens if he gets hurt? He plays in a very physical league, and
we need to see a number 2.
Yeah.
We want to see, let's say, if something happened to Tim Howard, if something happened, for some odd reason, you want to see somebody with experience. And Bill Hamid has not played internationally. We don't see Brad Friedel come in.
I'd like to see Brad Friedel, man. He's been playing great for Tottenham.
We haven't seen Brad Guzan, but we're seeing Bill Hamid. So I necessarily, as far as these upcoming friendlies, maybe we're seeing Howard against France. Hopefully we see Bill Hamid against Slovenia. But that's
just concern of mine.
So what else?
Defenders, I'm stoked, man. I mean, I'm a big fan of Fiscal just because I've played with him. I know what the guy can do. I'm excited to see Clarence Goodson back in the squad. He's healthy again. And the big man, Gucci Onyewu, man. I'm hoping he has a great game. And I mean, what we saw out of him from the past 2 games, has just been extraordinary defending.
So
that whole
hopefully he, that basically starts where he left off.
Yeah, that no nonsense type of
continues that
defender, and like I said in the last show, I think we got him back, and hopefully, best of luck to him. I hope he has a great game. In the middle, we got Kyle Beckerman. Another he's playing his little heart out, man. He's been playing good, and he had a good little spell in the playoffs. I mean, fortunately, LA beat him out, but I'm excited to see him, Michael Bradley, a little duo there. Clint Dempsey's in top form. I don't know, man. Maybe throw Jermaine Jones. I'm excited to see Breck Shea. I'm excited.
Even Danny Williams. Put it back in the mix.
And the guys. I mean, the guys that have been in the starting lineups the past couple of games really need to showcase what they have now. They're going against a very experienced and very, very, very talented France side, and again, these players that we have here are talented, and I feel that they could compete with a France team. So I mean, it's just keeping that fluidity going, and the momentum going. Up top, Josie Altidore had phenomenal goal. I showed it to you earlier. For his 22nd birthday.
He's in form though. He's definitely playing very well for his club.
He needs. I think again, when you're a forward, sometimes you have dry spells. He's been going through a dry spell, and hopefully he has his confidence up, and hopefully he can put one in, and he can build off that. I'm a little bummed out that Landon Donovan opted out, but I know
we'll talk about that now. Landon Donovan decided to opt out of the France friendly. He was only supposed to play in France and then come back after that friendly, playing one. But he decided not to. He's in the middle of the playoffs, and he's going for an MLS Cup. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know there was some people have the little moniker they say, or country before club. Mm-hmm. On my side, I'll start off with my thoughts. Donovan, he played at the international level. He's shown what he can do. He's probably the best player we've ever produced on it as far as an American. And since he decided to opt out, I have no problem with it, to be honest. I do understand why people would be like, hey, you should play. But there's no problem with it. He has an obligation to his club. It is a friendly during the winter time, and it's, it would have been great to see him, but I understand, and I have no problem with him deciding to stay.
Yeah, same here. I'm kind of in the middle. I would have liked to see him play France, though. I mean, it's just how many times you get to play France, and I'm one of those kind of guys that no game's friendly to me, especially against a team like France. I feel like a lot of the players here, your Breck Sheas, your Josie Altidores, your Clint Dempseys, have to really prove where they're at the world stage. And I feel like what a better game to do it than a game in France against France. But again, yeah, his club does pay his contract, but I guess it's just his personal choice. He wants to stay.
True. I just feel he has nothing to prove in a sense.
Right, and at this point, I don't think it's about proving anything. We know what the man can do, and we know what he's done for the national team. But it's not over. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's qualifying coming up. There's the World Cup's coming. I mean, it's not around the corner.
And there's several reasons why he would miss.
And I understand. Bottom line is, I understand what he's as an athlete. Well, he needs to get his rest. He needs to get focused for the championship game coming up. But I'm a fan too, man, and I want to see him play. And
but for me personally, I'd rather see him in qualifying than in this friendly. So where it matters. Yeah. Moving on, any surprises as far as who was called up from this roster? A lot of anticipation because Klinsmann has had 5 games to play. Mm-hmm. The team itself, not scoring a lot of goals. Some questions in the back, but Onyewu did kind of cement himself again. Hopefully he does that. But although Klinsmann is trying to implement an attacking style of football, of soccer, the team has 2 goals in 5 games. Some would say that's not enough.
And you know what? It's been a bit unlucky for them. They've like I said, we said last show too. They've missed goals in front of the net, wide open, and it's not that they haven't created chances, and their build up to go on that offensive third has been great. It's just they've been unlucky, and like I said, it's taking time, you know, and especially with a system like this, when you're playing a lone forward,